the world's best rally drivers, the world's fastest rally cars, a man-made circuit close to Barcelona's new Olympic Stadium, and a unique head-to-head format in a twin event competition to discover the fastest rally driver on earth in the Race of Champions. But first, the Rally Masters, a new addition to this annual challenge, brings together the champions of 9 countries. From France, Francois Chatriot and Alain Orai. 3 from Spain, Jesus Perez, Mia Bardelet and Josep Bassas. From Germany, it's Arwin Swans. Britain's champion, David Llewellyn. Italy's Dario Cerato. Tommy, no relation to Timo Mäkinen from Finland. Experienced Belgian Marc Duez and Japan's Lightning Shinazuka. Here's the circuit, an intriguing split track which caught out several drivers in practice. It's tight, demanding and very slippy. Drivers passed under the start-finish bridge twice. A good lap time, about 1 minute 35 seconds. There's been a series of eliminating runs, and here we're into the quarter-finals with Marc Duez versus Francois Chatriot. Duez it is in the silver car, Chatriot in the black car. They are identical. Peugeot 309 16 valves, basically in pretty standard specification. Neither driver has much front-wheel drive experience. These cars are front-wheel drive. You'll see that as they understeer through the corners. This an exciting circuit, a mixture of loose surface and tarmac with a water splash. That crossover that Duez has just gone across there, and the 2 men both complete 1 lap, but during the contest they are on a different part of the lap. A little bit complicated to see at first. We're running a clock on both of them, but that is only meaningful right at the very end. A number of drivers will go through this first knockout round. There you see that big bump. The car's taking a lot of punishment, and I suspect that it is Chatriot who is just leading. 89 and 90 French champion, more used to rallying a rear-wheel drive BMW car, coming up towards the end of the competition now. There is Chatriot. Chatriot from Paris, 3rd on the Corsican Rally this year. One of his best results, not a regular World Championship contender. And yes, Chatriot wins it. And Marc Duez 3.22 seconds in arrears, so that's a bit of a surprise. Maybe a bit of a problem there for the Belgian champion, but Francois Chatriot goes through that round. And there you see a bit of slow-mo, see how the cars really slide around on the loose. You've got to get those apexes of that corner right, or it is very easy to tip the cars over on this very, very tight circuit here. There, Chatriot, see how the car jumps in the air, lands down on the front. Chatriot's time, 1 minute 33.78 seconds. Marc Duez, 3.22 seconds in arrears. And the next heat coming up, Alain Orai and Dario Cerato. France versus Italy this time. Off they go. Alain Orai, freshly back from Paris, where the previous evening he picked up his official trophy for winning the Group N section of the World Rally Championship. That for the 2nd year running. There is Alain Orai in the silver car. No Navigators co-drivers used in this particular event. Rallying, of course, often relies on stealth, on gamesmanship, and on endurance. This event is completely different. This really is absolutely go for it, flat out, maximum attack. Only one chance, or you get eliminated. There are some, not buys as such, but there are some opportunities for the fastest of the losers to continue in the competition, however. So this is the Rally Masters, the precursor to the Race of Champions, which is the main event with the various world champions in. But the quickest men in this particular competition will go through to the big event, the Race of Champions, which is to follow. And here, pretty closely matched, Alain Orai very much at home awry in this Peugeot because he is used to rallying front-wheel drive cars, Renault 5 GTs, that kind of thing. And look how close they are coming to the line. And yes, it is Cerato that just wins it. Cerato there, the Italian. Let's look at it again. Look, nose to nose. Just under a car's length, and Cerato just beats Alain Orai. So, very good round there. We'll move Cerato through to actually contest the next round with Ericsson. But we're coming up now, young Tommi Mäkinen of Finland versus the Swede, very experienced Kenneth Ericsson. Tommi Mäkinen, one of the big challengers for that Group N standard car title that Alain Orai has just won. Mäkinen gave him a very hard time. No relation to the great former Finnish top rally driver Timo Mäkinen. And that bit of tape there, you see, that so he knows where the steering wheel is. It might seem a strange comment, but when you're actually playing with a wheel like that, it's nice to know exactly when the wheels are pointing forwards. Tommi Mäkinen, who is used to a Mitsubishi Galant in his normal rallying activities, tackling this Peugeot. And there is the very experienced Kenneth Ericsson, who also, like Tommy, rallies a Mitsubishi, but Kenneth rallies a full house, highly modified Group A version. Just see how the slide, see what I mean about that steering wheel, lock to lock, using the handbrake to pull the car around some of these tight corners. And who's it going to be? Well, they're very closely matched again. Will it be Kenneth Ericsson? Will it be Tommi Mäkinen? Just look at that tail slap, very nearly into the bank there, Tommi Mäkinen. And coming towards the line, and the checkered flag. And it is a victory then for the more experienced Kenneth Ericsson, but a good time from Tommi Mäkinen. So Kenneth Ericsson goes through, but I suspect that Tommi Mäkinen, with his good time, may get another chance. Very fast time then from Kenneth Ericsson, the most experienced man we've seen so far, a man who has won a World Championship event in the past. 1:33.52, beating Tommi Mäkinen by just a second and a half. This is the next round. We've got moved up around Kenneth Ericsson, who you've just seen, against Dario Cerato. And this will actually be the best of three. Into round two is the best of three runs. This, in effect, the semi-final. There's Cerato in the silver car, Ericsson in the black car, and early in the race, very closely matched indeed. We go in car with Dario, current Italian champion, 1985 and 1987 European champion. Used to much more power than this, normally rallies a Lancia, Group A Lancia. Had a number of victories this season in the European Championship, particularly winning the Costa Brava and Costa Esmeralda rallies. And as they go on that section where the two cars tend to meet, running parallel, they are neck and neck. And who is it going to be? Cerato in the silver car. And look how Ericsson's really moving that car about. Well, maybe his brother Håkan, who actually rallies one of these cars in Britain, has been giving him some tips about driving them. Again, oops, and the back end came up there. And now coming towards the checkered flag, and they are very close indeed. And just look, accelerating, and we have a win there for Ericsson, the first of the three contests between these two men. If he wins the next one, he will go straight through to the final, Curato wins it, then it'll be even Stevens, and the third run will decide all. Well, Ericsson, the more experienced man. There his time, 1:34.13. And now they come up, they switch sides. Curato versus Ericsson, their second run. Off they go, the front wheels fight for grip on the tarmac section. And the two tracks separate and onto the loose. Ericsson in the silver car. And just look there how he's leaning over and really working hard at it. That's Kenneth Ericsson you're riding with. Very unusual to see rally drivers moving their bodies about quite that much. And that seems to be the technique with that 309, throw it in and let the front wheels grip. And I suspect, in fact, that this time Curato is a little quicker than Ericsson, so it looks as if it's probably going to go to the third. Curato's car leaps there. You see the back, and very nearly off goes Kenneth Ericsson. Kenneth Ericsson having a very big moment indeed, and that will give the advantage to Dario Curato, the 39-year-old Italian. And Kenneth Ericsson literally lock to lock, and he'll be pretty cross with himself for making that mistake. And really flinging around in front of this big crowd here in Barcelona. They come to the line, and it is Curato from Ericsson. So Dario Curato makes it 1-all, so the pair of them will go again. And who's it going to be? Very close finish though. Ericsson would have had that all sewn up if he hadn't had that big moment when he went ploughing off and almost into that bank. 1:34.15. The margin just 0.29 of a second. So they switch sides again and come up for the third and final run. And the winner, remember, will go into the final. Off they set again. Curato versus Kenneth Ericsson. Two Ericssons in World Championship rallying. Michael Ericsson spells his name differently to this man, Kenneth. They are unrelated. But as I said, Kenneth's younger brother, very talented, currently rallying in the British Championship with Peugeot. Kenneth Ericsson winning his one and only World Championship rally in 1987 in the Ivory Coast, driving VW, so he's got quite a bit of front-wheel drive experience. His best result this year was third on the 1,000 Lakes until he had a superb run on the RAC rally just a couple of weeks ago. Very nearly won that one. Finally had to give best to Spain's Carlos Sainz, who we'll be seeing later in the Race of the Champions. So this, the final run of the first of the two semi-finals. And coming up towards the line now, and who's it going to be? And the flag goes to Kenneth Ericsson by 1 second, so Kenneth Ericsson will be in the final. But certainly Curato gave a very good account of himself. Right, this is the second of the two semi-finals. Chatriot versus Orai, Alain Orai. We've seen them both earlier on. Francois Chatriot, two Frenchmen together. There is Alain Orai, there is Chatriot. Orai's done virtually all his rallying in the front-wheel drive machine, so he should be well at home with this. Chatriot, not used to this kind of front-wheel driven car, more used to rear-wheel drive. And look how close they go to the bank there. This is a man-made course. Various different sorts of rally sprints held around the world, making excellent television pictures. This one conceived by Michèle Mouton, the only woman to have won a World Championship rally. She did so on 4 occasions with Audi in the mid-80s. And this event now very much the baby of Michèle Mouton and her close friend Frederick Johnson. Over the bridge, the crossover, and who is looking good here? It looks to me like Orai, Alain Orai, the Group N World Champion, normally a Renault driver, and it is definitely Orai. Alain Orai crosses the line, takes the checkered flag, and 134s is down into the 134s. And just seeing in slow motion, taking the checkered flag, all about 4 lengths in it that time. Well, Orai certainly looking fastest of the 2 Frenchmen. So off they go again, and will Chatriot have his revenge this time? Reigning French champion versus the world production car champion. Alain Orai did much of his rallying with his wife Sylvie as his co-driver. Oh, and a problem there I think for Chatriot. Definitely slowed up, so it looks as if the second semi-final will indeed go to Alain Orai. It looks as if it's going to be Orai versus Kenneth Eriksson. Can Chatriot make up for that problem there? Well, they do look neck and neck there, but that really is a bit of a false impression because of the way that the track is constructed. A bit of tyre squeals, they come off the tarmac. Black car bucking through the water jump. These 16-valve GTIs from Peugeot really standing up well to the rough treatment they're getting here. Quite a few incidents in the training on Friday. And out in the loose there, not the best of traction. And now coming towards the line, and in fact they're a lot closer than I suspected. In fact they are very close indeed. They are neck and neck. And who was it? Yes, just winning. Alain Orai just beats his fellow Frenchman. 2 wins for him, so he goes through to the final of the new Rally Masters. So Orai 1 minute 34.23 and wins by 0.04 of a second. 4 100ths of a second, that's all that separated them. This then the final. And we have to tell you that the first of the 3 runs has already happened, and that was won by Alain Orai. So Kenneth Eriksson has it all to do. Of course, if Orai can win this one, then he is the rally master. So Kenneth Eriksson spurred on. This concept of the best of 3, it really does work well. It builds up the excitement. There is Kenneth Eriksson. 34 years old, baby-faced, actually not had a very good season this year until his RAC rally, driving for Mitsubishi normally. Alain Orai, of course, has had a fantastic season with Renault, winning that championship, that trophy he picked up on Friday, rushing back on a plane to be here together with the great Spanish world champion Carlos Sainz. And this looks very close indeed. Remember, Eriksson has got it all to do. Orai in the silver car, Eriksson in the black car. Look how the rear wheels lock up there. Pulling the handbrake on. good rally driving technique to slide the back end round and help the car around the corner. Oh, and very, very nearly went over there. That just shows how hard Ericsson is trying. Coming up towards the line, and it's Kenneth Ericsson. Yes, Kenneth Ericsson is going to do it. Keeps his hopes alive. Kenneth Ericsson wins that one. 1:35.18 and over 1.5 seconds in front of Alain Arai. So it goes to the third, final and deciding contest between these two men. Kenneth Ericsson of Sweden, Alain Arai of France. And there you see the gap for about 4 cars length. So this is it. Who will be the first winner of the Rally Masters contest here in Barcelona? There is Kenneth Ericsson flying that Peugeot. Here's Alain Arai. Pops up the back wheels, turns on the power. Sends the dirt flying over the flyover. A lot of this stuff in second gear, of course. And now back onto the tarmac. And at that point, if they're neck and neck, they are usually neck and neck as they get to the finish. Black Cars has a slightly shorter route round. And Ericsson, according to the clock, which isn't totally indicative, well, absolutely neck and neck. Well, the closing 20 seconds then of the Rally Masters, this precursor to the Race of Champions. And who is it going to be as they come into the final sprint towards the line? And it's looking like Kenneth Ericsson, but they are very close indeed. And Kenneth Ericsson gets the drive out of there. And Kenneth Ericsson wins it by just, half a length. So although Alain Arai won the first of the 3 contests, Ericsson wins the second and third. And Kenneth Ericsson, the 34-year-old Swede, is the first Rally Master and will of course go through to the Race of Champions. Yes, through to the big Race of Champions goes Cirato, Chatriot, Tommy Mäkinen and Alain Arai. And what a battle they have on their hands with a superb lineup of world champions to rally against. Sensation in the early eliminator, out goes Ari Vatanen. More of the big names were to fall in the next round as the drivers switched from Peugeots to full-house Toyota rally cars. Out go world champions Bjorn Voldegaard, Hannu Mikkola and Marco Alain. Well, this competition has 4 rounds. We start with 10 competitors, eliminate 4, down to 6, then down to 4, down to 2, and then the eventual winner. And this first round being held in all-wheel drive Toyota Celica GT4s, full Group A rally cars, exactly like the one that man there, Carlos Sainz, was used to win the World Rally Championship this year. And just see immediately how much quicker these cars are. This is state-of-the-art rally cars. Carlos Sainz versus Kenneth Ericsson. Kenneth Ericsson indeed has done much of the development driving of this car a couple of years ago, and you see how much quicker they are. We're getting times of 1:34 previously. There is Kenneth Ericsson. Carlos Sainz, of course, the world champion in a car like this. That's the spectacular action we've seen in the year from Carlos Sainz, the first ever Spanish rally champion, world rally champion. Through the water splash. And who is it going to be? Carlos Sainz certainly knows the car well. Had a very early start from Paris. There's Kenneth Ericsson. And look at the incredible traction, although he does get that corner just a little bit wrong there. Now this shows the big difference between standard production car and a car built especially for rallying. Listen to the stones beating up on the underneath of the car. And coming up the line, who's it going to be? And Kenneth Ericsson wins it. Well, that's kept the Spanish crowd a little quiet. A bit of a surprise that, so Kenneth Ericsson. Of course, he knows the course a little better, having been through the Rally Masters competition. That's obviously helped him. But a quick time from Carlos Sainz, and the fastest loser of that first round does in fact go through. We are eliminating only 4. And just to remind you, of course, eliminated already world champions Vatanen, Voldegaard, Alain and Mikkola as we move into the quarter-final stage. And this is the quarter-finals, and we go away from those exciting Toyotas to the Peugeots. Stig Blomqvist, we're seeing him for the first time, the 44-year-old former world champion, the 1984 world champion with the Audi Quattro, and he is against Kenneth Ericsson, who really knows what it's like to rush one of these 309s round here. Stig is a past master at this type of rally sprint event, sort of man that can really turn on the quick times immediately. A laconic man, Stig Blomqvist from Örebro in Sweden. There is Stig. Will be rallying for the factory Nissan team this year. Their car currently not yet ready for rallying, so Stig has been busy himself winning the Swedish Group A Racing Championship. Stig has been rallying for Ford lately, but moves on to Nissan, as I said, and perhaps the most experienced man, along with Bjorn Voldegaard, in this contest. They cross the start-finish line for the first time, and it looks as if Blomqvist has got the advantage over Kenneth Ericsson in this, the first of the quarter-finals. A lot of understeer there from Ericsson. Blomqvist has won major rallies all over the world. He's been at it for over 20 years. Made his name in Saabs to start with, so he is used to this front-wheel drive technique. Just you saw his hand going down to the handbrake there, and coming up to the finish. And Blomqvist is looking good. And 1:36.15, victory by a margin of 1.3 seconds. So good result there from Rally Stig, as they call him, Stig Blomqvist, and he wins it from Kenneth Ericsson. There, a replay of the finish. So Blomqvist will go through to the semi-finals. And coming up this time, Dario Cerato versus Tommi Mäkinen. Tommi Mäkinen won a place through from the Rally Masters competition, although he didn't feature in the final of that. And I have to admit, it's a bit of a mystery how he's managed to get through. I think he's replacing Ari Vatanen, who has stood down from the competition at the last minute. So this is Tommi Mäkinen from Finland versus Dario Cerato, who's also come through from the Rally Masters. So they've already had quite a bit of experience in these cars. They've got used to them, and they're just extracting the maximum effort from the little 1900cc machines. Past our low camera, and they look very close indeed. There's Cerato jumping, the steam coming off the car, and there's Mäkinen. This time we've got 2 black cars at the same time, just to confuse us. And who is it going to be? This particular round, remember, a quarter-final. And Mäkinen certainly is looking good. Close up there as the front-wheel drive fights for grip. Coming towards the line. A good time, remember, about 1:35 in these cars. The final sprint for the line, and is it going to be Cerato? That's the time, 1:36.41. Cerato goes through, but Mäkinen may be the fastest loser. So coming up now to the semi-finals, and the semi-finals will be Stig Blomqvist versus Carlos Sainz, Dario Cerato again against Tommi Mäkinen. Well, this scoring system does throw up some funny combinations. Eliminated Kenneth Eriksson, also eliminated Timo Salonen. Well, for the semi-finals, the drivers move into the fabulous S1 Audi Quattros, the old Group B rally cars, which have now been outlawed. They were just too powerful, the governing body of motorsport said. It's great to see them in action again. In fact, this is the only event now where we actually still see these cars driven in anger. Just look at them. Big beasts, 500 brake horsepower. And of course, Stig Blomqvist very used to this kind of car. Carlos Sainz probably has never driven an Audi Quattro before. In fact, I'm pretty certain that's the case. Really, the advantage should be with Stig Blomqvist. He did all the development in these cars in a very similar car. He won the Hong Kong to Beijing rally about 3 years ago. The last rally he won in an Audi Quattro. And he loves this 5-cylinder guy, describes it as the best rally car that's ever been built. I'm sure Carlos Sainz is enjoying the power and the enormous traction of the S1s. A little long in the tooth now, these two white private cars. In fact, it's a car rather similar to this that Michèle Mouton, the designer of this event, won her 5 World Championship rallies in. Back for one car, I noticed Swedish registered. And just look at this. And Stig Blomqvist getting it right. And Stig Blomqvist, and just look at the time, 1:27.10. That's the fastest time. And a nice replay there of a full-blooded four-wheel drift. But this is the best of 3. And again, we see that from a different angle, and just look how the car slides, kicks up the dust. And the checkered flag. Blomqvist wins 1:27.10 by 0.8 of a second. They go again, head to head. Sainz on the outside this time. Blomqvist on the inside. Look at those knobbly rally tyres. It's the Bibendum on the front. And that's the make of tyre. And off they go. Four-wheel grip, forcing the cars forward. 500 brake horsepower, 5-cylinder fuel-injected engine, propelling it through the air there. Well, Carlos Sainz is the reigning World Rally Champion. Stig Blomqvist, the champion in 1984. Something in the region of 10 World Championship Rally successes to his name. There is Blomqvist, unfortunately, another great Audi exponent, Hannu Mikkola, unable to continue in this event, having lost in the first round. But this is the second matching of these two, and it's looking good, very good for Carlos Sainz this time, through the water splash. Just hear that whistle there, that's from the turbocharger, and very nearly a spin. Just look at the way you can get these cars sideways. Total opposite lock and still recovering it. The sophistication of the four-wheel drive system in these cars are, well, not nearly as sophisticated as the Toyota you saw earlier, the Toyota that indeed Sainz is used to, and the crowd is applauding. They think that Sainz is going to take it. Carlos Sainz, El Matador, comes towards the line, and Carlos Sainz wins it. So it is 1-1 in this first of the two semi-finals. The 30-year-old from Madrid, Carlos Sainz, beats the great Audi Meister, Stig Blomqvist. One leg each. Who is going to make it in this third and final leg? Stig Blomqvist, remember, won the race of the champions last year at the Nürburgring. Carlos Sainz actually crashed and destroyed a Toyota in the practice for that event and took no further part. Sainz, of course, urged on by his fellow Spaniards, watched by his fiancée Reyes. Sainz, a great all-round sportsman, a former Spanish national squash champion at the age of 16, a fencing champion at school, took part in the Spanish ski championships. Stig Blomqvist, I have to say, is a man who just concentrates on his driving, and when it's all over, I have to say, he likes a gin and tonic. Blomqvist, 14 years the senior of Carlos Sainz, one of the world's great natural drivers, Stig Blomqvist. And I think Blomqvist might just have the edge. Blomqvist in the open face crash helmet. If you get a close-up, Sainz wearing the full face helmet. There is Blomqvist, concentration written all over his face. Blomqvist there, and the crowd are a little quieter. This is the third and final run, and it is looking as if it may be going Stig Blomqvist's way. Crossways over the flyover. Tape flapping off the back of the car. Sainz still, his hopes alive, the car bucking and bronking. And very nearly against the Armco barrier, Stig Blomqvist, and Blomqvist takes it. Stig Blomqvist goes through with a 1:26. Stig Blomqvist goes into the final. Carlos Sainz, a brave effort, but on the basis of the best two runs, it is Stig Blomqvist who goes through. Carlos Sainz, a good effort there. Remember, Blomqvist knows these cars so well, and he did, in fact, just tap the Armco barrier, did Blomqvist, in that final dash towards the line. Sainz 1.21 seconds behind. The second semi-final coming up now, Dario Cerato versus Tommi Mäkinen. Tommi Mäkinen has never driven anything nearly as powerful as this. Group N cars having somewhere in the region of 250 brake horsepower. This Audi probably, depending on how the turbocharger has been set, around 500 horsepower. Mäkinen just coming to the line now. This is the second of the three scheduled runs. The acceleration into the first corner, absolutely vital, and Cerato really is going for it. Let Cerato smoked the bank there. Meanwhile, look at that car flying, but Cerato definitely in trouble. Cerato's car, the one with the blue spot, Mäkinen there with the red spot on. And the two courses, the way they're laid out, leads me to suspect that Cerato has lost 6, 7, maybe more seconds in that incident. It didn't look a big incident, but it seemed to be one that really put him off his stride. Well, these Audi Quattros, these fine former supercars, prepared in Sweden by the Rallycross team. Just look at that. Going under the bridge, Mäkinen, and nowhere to be seen, Cerato. So Mäkinen keeping his hopes very much alive in this second of three competitions between these two men for a place in the final. Remember, an absolutely vital race here in the final outcome. Just listen to that. That's the pop-off valve from the turbocharger, and the turbocharger probably set at about 1.5 bar. Meanwhile, Tommi Mäkinen blasting home to take the flag. Dario Cerato, after that incident, still on his way to the line. This event, remember, a tribute to the great Finnish rally driver Henri Toivonen. It's actually mentioned on that bridge. So, well, there's Cerato. He's finished his run. But the winner, Tommi Mäkinen, makes it 1-1. So who will go through to the semi-final? The next one is the one that really is going to count. A bit of slow-mo there, and that's Cerato having a bit of another lurid moment. So quite an exciting run for him. There's the time, and Cerato, you see, 11.66 seconds behind. Very quick run from Tommi Mäkinen, 1 minute 26.78 seconds. Good run from Mäkinen. Tommi Mäkinen has only been rallying for 5 years. Dario Cerato, 39 years old, has been rallying for best part of 20. A double European champion, much more experienced than Tommi Mäkinen, but many people are marking Tommi Mäkinen out as a great champion of the future. Says he'll continue in Group N rallying next season. So off they go again, Mäkinen versus Jurato. Bouncing. And a problem there, again a problem, almost came to a stop, Jurato, so it's looking very much as if Tommi Mäkinen is going to go through, but Jurato is off and running again. And indeed they're still quite close. And very nearly into the barrier, under the finishing gantry for the first time, and next time it's going to count for real, it's going to count for a place in the final. And who's it going to be? Jurato there, Mäkinen, the man in the open face helmet. And Mäkinen has done a superb job to get this far, very much a surprise. And look at the front of that car, hanging off, and bits of carbon fibre go flying. That plough front has been literally demolished by Tommi Mäkinen, and it's very close indeed as they now come onto, and look at that against the barrier, and Tommi Mäkinen, it is Tommi Mäkinen that does it, and look at the damage to that car. Well, one of the closest finishes we've seen, and well, Tommi Mäkinen certainly has bent a few panels, clangs against the Armco barrier. But it is Tommi Mäkinen who goes through to the final. Stig Blomqvist, last year's winner, there you see some of the damage, will go head-to-head with Tommi Mäkinen. Somewhere in the region of 20 years between the two of them. But Jurato certainly going very well in this, his first race of champions. Bang against the barrier, really did hit it very hard indeed. Bounced the car back, and well, really a bit of a brutal effort there by Tommi Mäkinen, but good enough for victory anyway in the semi-final. Coming up now, it'll again be the best of three, and they return to the state-of-the-art Toyota Celica GT4. These cars having somewhere in the region of officially 300 brake horsepower. The engines, I believe, actually developed by Yamaha or Toyota. And off they go. Blomqvist versus Mäkinen. So we're right into the final stages of the event now. There is Tommi Mäkinen. Certainly looks at home in that machine. Tommi Mäkinen there. Tommi Mäkinen makes a big mistake, very nearly tipped it over on his roof. There's Blomqvist, and Mäkinen is stuck. Tommi Mäkinen is stuck, so the advantage very much goes to the old veteran Stig Blomqvist. Blomqvist continues on his way. Mäkinen only now gets going. No, indeed he doesn't. He's still stuck, and he couldn't find a gear. So a big problem there for Tommi Mäkinen. So Stig Blomqvist. There you see Blomqvist now. Well, he's already looked across and seen that Tommi Mäkinen had that problem. So Mäkinen definitely in trouble. Stig Blomqvist looking good. Blomqvist coming up towards the line, reveling in the superb handling of this Toyota. Car developed by Uwe Andersson and his team in Cologne, Germany, for the Japanese manufacturer, and a time of 1:28.40 for Stig Blomqvist. First blood then to Blomqvist, 2 more runs to go, and Tommi Mäkinen still coming home. Well, just touring now, and a 1:48.99, so that mistake cost him, well, 20 seconds. Well, Tommy Mäkinen has it all to do. The runner-up in the World Group N Championship, although he didn't actually do all the rounds. And just look how that Toyota handles. So and that's how he just clipped the apex of the corner, very nearly tipped the car over and then into the opposite bank. Of course, he then had to define reverse, a car that he's not used to, and that took some time. Well, there he is, Tommy Mäkinen, tightens the belts. Car gets a bit of a quick check over from the Toyota Team Europe mechanics. Probably just looked underneath it, checked that there wasn't any damage to the front suspension after that incident. So they switch lanes. Well, Stig Blomqvist can win the Race of the Champions, this unique rally event, for a second year running. If he wins this contest, through the water splash, steam coming off the big brakes. Both men fighting with the wheel. Go in car with Tommy Mäkinen. 6-speed gearbox. Takes another gear. Over the flyover section. And very difficult at this stage to see who is actually in front. Certainly Mäkinen looking good. They're neck and neck as they go underneath the gantry for the first time. Just see the back of that carbon fibre Kevlar seat. And I suspect that Mäkinen might just be a fraction in front this time. To keep his hopes alive, the two cars very close together in that section. They almost aim at each other, don't they? Hear that 4-cylinder 16-valve engine barking away. And coming up towards the line, it's very close indeed. Who's it going to be? Is Blomqvist going to be the winner? No! Tommy Mäkinen keeps his hopes alive. Mäkinen wins the second, one each. So a third and final deciding run. Stig Blomqvist, the veteran, against the young upstart Tommy Mäkinen. Nobody would have predicted this as the final of the Race of Champions here in Barcelona. Of course, all those fans had hoped that Carlos Sainz would be in there, but no, it is Mäkinen versus Blomqvist coming up for the third and final run. Stig Blomqvist, one of the legends of rallying, from Sweden, 44 years old, from the town of Örebro, against Tommy Mäkinen from Jyväskylä in Finland, 18 years his junior, and is it all flying higher than ever. And there is Blomqvist, and he really wants to win this. Stig has got the bit between his teeth. And the cars sliding around this very tight course, considerably tighter than last year's Nürburgring course. Coming up now, almost a third of the way through it. They look as if they're running very close together. As we said on a number of occasions, very difficult to tell with the configuration of the course. Usually if they cross that point there close together, then it's going to be very close for the final stretch. Is it going to be Blomqvist? Is it going to be Tommy Mäkinen? Well, age and experience beat youth and exuberance. Well, no one can say that Blomqvist isn't being exuberant here. He is so good at these special rally events. Oh, and Mäkinen all out in the dirt there. and they're coming up towards the line. It is neck and neck. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Blomqvist? Is it going to be Mäkinen? Stig Blomqvist just does it. Blomqvist wins it for Sweden, celebrates by throwing the car absolutely sideways. And for the second year running, Stig Blomqvist from Sweden, the 1984 world champion, is the winner of this unique race of champions. What a superb event it has been. Closely fought. There's Stig's time, 1:27.25, beating young Tommi Mäkinen by just 0.46 of a second. The Spanish fans appreciate that. Well, a Swedish victory in the Rally Masters, and now a Swedish victory in the big event, the Race of the Champions. There is Stig Blomqvist on the victory rostrum. A trophy for Stig. He's absolutely delighted with that. The organiser, Michèle Mouton, down there with him, just to his right. And she certainly has come up with a very good contest. Well, can Stig make it 3 in a row? We won't find out for another 12 months. But for now, it's goodbye.